welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty interesting. It's this comparison floating around, the Pi network, and, well, how it stacks up against the early days of Bitcoin. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right.
Our plan here is to really dig into the source material we've got, pull out the key bits about Pi network's ambitions, and especially how it's being positioned, drawing these direct lines back to Bitcoin's rise.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, and I think a lot of people might forget this, is just how small Bitcoin started. The source material really reminds us its value was basically nothing at first. Negligible. We're talking like those infamous pizzas, right?
Yeah.
Exchanged for
With
Bitcoin.
expenses, yeah.
Which now sounds crazy, but it just shows how undervalued it was.
It's completely wild to think about now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And from that almost comical start, Bitcoin, as our source lays it out pretty well, it fought through all the skepticism, the technical stuff, to become, well, that top dog of crypto.
Yeah.
The source credits that groundbreaking proof-of-work tech, but also that really dedicated decentralized community that just rallied around it, a clear vision.
Right. It built trust slowly through just being resilient and, frankly, secure.
Yeah, step by step.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, the source argues Pi Network shares some of those, let's say, fundamental ideas, a long-term vision, community focus.
Okay.
But, and this is key, it's taking a very different path technically. Bitcoin, uses proof of work, super energy intensive.
Right.
Pi uses the Stellar Consensus Protocol, SCP. The material points out it's faster, much more energy efficient.
It sounds like a big deal for scaling.
Exactly. It potentially makes Pi way more accessible for like everyday global users, which fits right into their whole mass adoption thing.
Yeah, that focus on mass adoption and making it accessible that really jumps out from the source material. It's not just numbers. It's building this whole ecosystem before the Open Mainnet even launches. The source talks about mobile mining, apps integrated right in, an interface design so, even if you're totally new to crypto, you can get started.
And the scale is just different.
Right. Over 60 million pioneers, it says. Well, the source states it's way beyond Bitcoin's early user base. It's almost like Pi is trying to flip the script, right? Build the crowd first.
Yeah, building the crowd first, and that strategic groundwork is absolutely crucial. The way the source describes it, Pi is all about utility, making it easy to use, building a platform developers actually want to build on.
So less niche, more everyday usable.
Precisely. Laying the groundwork for, well, an inclusive digital economy where crypto isn't just for tech heads or investors, but actually useful for everyone.
And speaking of groundwork, the source points to a big milestone coming up, the Pi Open Network launch, February 20, 2025.
That's the date mentioned.
And it's framed as, not just an event, but proof of years of careful work, community building, putting all the pieces together.
Which, this raises an important question, doesn't it? Because the source makes a pretty bold claim here.
Okay.
It suggests that, like Bitcoin came out of nowhere, Pi is setting itself up for a similar path, but maybe bigger. On an unprecedented scale is the phrase used. Yeah. The source basically calls it the birth of a decentralized digital currency designed for everyday people, not just for trading or speculation. It's a big bet on network effects of just pure tech innovation.
So what does this all mean? Looking at this source material, the narrative seems clear. Pi Network is being presented as, potentially, the next huge shift in digital currency.
Yeah.
That Bitcoin comparison isn't just wishful thinking, it's strategic. Learn from Bitcoin's quiet start, but go hard on mass adoption right away.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the long game for these kinds of projects. I mean, remember trying to explain Bitcoin years ago? Felt like talking about, I don't know, magic internet money?
Oh, yeah, totally.
So imagine if Pi actually pulls off this currency for everyday people thing. It could fundamentally change how we interact with money online. Maybe people dismissing it now. Well, they might look back later and wonder how they missed it. Just like with early Bitcoin. Food for thought, definitely.